found a low carb recipe that we're gonna try, and we're gonna throw it in this Instant Pot. So here we go. Okay. So the first thing I did was put my grate in the bottom. So I've got my grate down there, and now we are going to pour 1 cup of chicken broth in the bottom. And I'm just gonna guess at this. Okay, surely that's 1 cup. Okay, next we are going to take our chicken. The recipe says to put the chicken in the bottom of the Instant Pot and season it, but I like to season mine in the bowl. So I'm just gonna do it that way. Let me grab a spoon. The seasonings that we're gonna use are onion, garlic, and cumin, and I'm just guessing at this because I just glanced at that recipe and I thought, man, that looks easy. So I'm gonna do 1 teaspoon of onion powder. Spread out my chicken here. Okay, and I'm gonna do both sides. Okay, and I don't wanna contaminate my jar. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is just take the lids off. And now we're gonna use garlic, and I don't wanna contaminate my jar, so I'm just using the opposite hand, and we're just gonna be ambidextrous here. Okay, and we're gonna do 1 teaspoon of garlic. And I'm gonna do that on both sides. I'm gonna do 1/2 teaspoon of cumin. Cumin has such a nice flavor to it. Okay, well, maybe just a little bit more. So maybe that's 3/4 teaspoon of cumin. Okay, now once I've got this on my chicken, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna kind of pat it in. And then I'm gonna lay each piece in here. And I did take my grate and I put some olive oil on it because I don't want anything to stick. That's just me. The instructions did not say to, but I did. We're just gonna layer chicken in there, and let me go wash my hands. So next we are going to need some green beans, and I've just got these extra fine green beans. They're frozen. I get these from Aldi's and they are wonderful. They taste great. And we're just gonna pour these in here. I'll cut my sleeve off there. Okay. This is a 16-ounce bag. And then you'll need 1 bell pepper, and I've got some frozen bell pepper, and I'm guessing that this is about 1 bell pepper. And we're just gonna put that on top. Okay. And then it called for a whole container of mushrooms, but I had a 1/2 container of white mushrooms, and that's what I'm using. And I went ahead and washed those and diced them. Just gonna put that on top. This is looking good already, y'all. Spread that out a little. Okay. And then we are going to do a 1/2 stick of butter, and I melted that. And I'm just gonna pour it on top. Okay, and now a little salt and pepper. Cracked pepper is my favorite. It just brings out that peppery taste. I love it. It's very bold. Although the recipe didn't say do this, it's just me. I feel like those vegetables need a little life, a little seasoning too. So I'm just gonna add a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic on top of this because I love my garlic. And maybe a 1/2 teaspoon of onion and garlic on top. Just to give it a little more flavor. Once you've got your lid locked on here, you want to make sure that the valve is all the way over to the seal position, which it is, and now we're going to cut it on. This recipe said cook this 10 minutes, but I believe that I'm going to do 15 minutes, simply because I want my chicken done, y'all. Okay, so we are going to hit pressure, and it's on high, and then we are just going to hit the time of 15 minutes and start. It really is that simple. And it'll flash pre until it builds up pressure, until it heats up, and then it will start at 15 and count down. Now, once it reaches 0, you have two choices. You can let it naturally release and start counting back up, or which you still have to push the valve over, or you can do a quick release, which simply means you quickly release it. You quickly release it. Whereas a natural release is where the Instant Pot naturally releases it. And that's the pressure that we're talking about. So I'm gonna let this preheat, build up pressure, cook my chicken and my dinner, and then I will be back. Okay guys, one other thing, while this Instant Pot's cooking my dinner, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna shred up my pepper jack cheese. And it's probably gonna take about 2 cups. I didn't look at the recipe, I'm just guessing. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off, and then I'm going to release the pressure. Okay, there we go. I'm still a little jumpy about it. And the button in the back will pop back down when the pressure is released. I'll show you. Okay, and once that pops back down, you're ready to take your lid off. So you want to take it off and point it away from you. You don't want all that steam hitting you. And I just put this in my kitchen sink until it cools off. Doesn't that look amazing? It smells so good. I can smell the cumin. Okay, so now we're just gonna shred that chicken up. I got my grandbaby here. We're just gonna shred that chicken up. And now we're just gonna top it with some pepper jack cheese, and it's ready to serve. After I topped it with the cheese, I did put the lid back on it for about 5 minutes. And I hit the keep warm button, and voila, this was so cheesy, and it had the best flavor. Y'all have a great evening.